Hey guys, and welcome to my top 5 worst moments from Nintendo's E3 event. I've recently just posted a video detailing my thoughts and impressions of E3 as a whole, and in that I said I would make 2 separate videos detailing my 5 worst and 5 best moments. So I thought firstly I'd get the worst moments out of the way because, let's face it, no one likes to be negative. It's just a shame Nintendo gave me a fair bit to be negative about this year. As my thoughts video, this video isn't scripted in any way whatsoever, so apologies in advance if I repeat myself or stumble or anything like that, but I really wanted to just get it out there before, E3 is forgotten about, because let's face it, a lot of people are probably going to want to forget about this E3, in Nintendo's terms anyway. So yeah, let's get on with it. Top 5 worst moments of E3 for Nintendo. So in number 5, I've put Animal Crossing. Not so much Animal Crossing Happy Home Decorator, because that game actually looked really good to me. I think they really proved it was worth getting, and it appealed to me really. As someone who doesn't really have a lot of time to play video games anymore, it looks perfect for me, because you can pretty much go in there, edit stuff and all that, just like that, click of a button. What was disappointing was Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. And don't get me wrong, I think it's got potential, but the way they delivered it and the way they didn't really say much about it has really left me, I guess, let down by it. So I'm sure I wasn't alone when I saw the opening, thought that it was going to be a Wii U Animal Crossing game, like a full Animal Crossing game. But it wasn't, it was actually a board game. Now, the concept doesn't annoy me because I think they're trying to do what they do with Pokemon, which is basically keeping the core series handheld and portable and using the home system to make spin-offs and stuff like that, which is fine. I get that makes sense, but if you're going to do that, at least show us more of the game. So we got a minute's worth of footage, and in that all we saw was some amiibos being tapped on the gamepad and some animals moving across a board, and nothing really happening. Some little scenarios even popped up and said we bumped into each other, we split our bells in half, or whatever it was. There was no mini games, there was no real interaction from the player. It looked like a really bog standard board game, a very nice looking board game, I'll give you that. It did look nice, but I think if Nintendo were to make this a Mario Party style game, so you moved around, you had mini games, that sort of stuff, it would literally jump way up the hypometer, let's say, for me. Imagine you have like a game where you have to catch bugs or dig up fossils or that sort of stuff. Yeah, absolutely, that would be amazing. I completely get that. They're going to have models for all of the animals as it is, so you could potentially use your amiibo cards to play as your favourite animals and all that sort of jazz, but we didn't get any of that. That's not to say that it's not going to happen, because it's literally just been announced, but you would have thought that if it is going to be happening, that they would have said that first thing. They would have tried to sell it, but they didn't really try to do it. So yeah, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, bit disappointing so far, but it does have potential. In 4th place, I've put the Skylanders Amiibo crossover. Again, this looked really good. Bowser and Donkey Kong looked amazing in Skylanders. It literally blew my mind. It looked so good. They looked incredible. One of my favourite moments of E3, actually. What I didn't like was the fact that it was in a third-party game. So effectively, Nintendo created all their own amiibos and stuff, and instead of making their own game similar to Skylanders or Disney Infinity, they've just made a crossover, which I really just don't get. It's frustrating. As someone that loves Amiibo and collects Amiibo, I would really have liked to have seen a game where I could use these more excessively than Smash and getting costumes and that. Don't get me wrong, that's really awesome, that's really cool. I like the fact that you can get so many things with a single Amiibo, so you can get costumes in like 20 different games with Mario. That's cool, that's awesome, that's right, but we need like a hub world, and that's what Skylanders has, and that's what Nintendo hasn't, sorry. And so that's why it just frustrated me. Like I said, Bowser, Donkey Kong, they look amazing. I'm going to get the Skylander figures purely to have them. I'm not going to get the game, but the figurines are cool. I just hope that Nintendo will see the success of that, because it is going to be successful. I hope Nintendo see the success of that and go, hey, you know what, we'll make our own game incorporating the Amiibos, whether that be with the Wii U or the next generation console. So yeah, rant over. Number 3, I've put Mario Tennis, purely because it was so shoddily dropped in there. Nothing was really said about it. It literally was just chucked in there and then not spoken about. I imagine it was playable on the show floor. I'm pretty confident it was, but the trailer really didn't do it any justice. It was, you know, a minute's worth of footage of just Mario, Bowser, Peach and Toad on a standard court playing tennis with some mega mushrooms, which isn't really a game seller, a game changer. So it was just a letdown, really. There was just no thought put into it. If it was a blockbuster title and they just chucked it in there casually, people would have been like, whoa, what was that, you know? That looked really cool. But they weren't. It was more like, what the hell, what was the point in that? That was my reaction anyway. I have nothing against Mario Tennis. Great fun. I obviously picked the game up, but the way it was delivered, it just seemed lazy to me. In second place, I've put too much focus on previously announced games. I mentioned this in my thoughts video, but Nintendo put too much emphasis on games that are literally just around the corner or already out in some territories in their digital event. It makes complete sense to focus on these games at E3. I just don't know why they did it in the digital event. That's something that they should have focused on in the treehouse. That would have made more sense. What happened instead was we got a couple of new games, and in between them we got loads of details on games we already knew about, and some of those details we even knew about. So, for example, Yoshi's Woolly World, which is out in just over a week's time in Europe. We didn't really get any new information. It was just one of the developers, software developers I think, just talking about how they came up with the idea of Amiibo. That's not something you want in your digital event. That is, you know, treehouse stuff. You know, that's interesting, it's cool, I liked it, but that's the digital event is not where you show that, at least in my opinion anyway. It doesn't really engage people. So that was a letdown. And the same with Xenoblade Chronicles. It's already out in Japan, so if you want to find stuff out about that, you can find that out. You can find anything that you want out about that game. So that was a bit odd. And then both Fire Emblem games, Fire Emblem If, or Fire Emblem Fates as it's called over here, they recently had a mini direct in Japan and they spoke loads about that. So again, you could find that information out anyway. There was nothing new there. It was all just padding, in my eyes anyway. So that frustrated me, because I went into E3 thinking, right, Nintendo don't actually have that many games coming out. All the games that are coming out fairly soon, so in a couple of months time they've got nothing. So surely during this digital event they're going to announce tons of new games, and they did the complete opposite of that. Hence why I made so many predictions and stuff, because I thought that literally they were going to release a wealth of games due to so many of their titles coming out soon. But hey ho, that's what happened. And finally, the most disappointing moment of E3 for me, like many, was the announcement of Metroid Prime Federation Force. Purely because it's an insult to the Metroid fanbase. I'm going to clear this up straight away. I don't think it's a bad game. It doesn't look like a bad game. What's bad about it is the fact that they've slapped the Metroid Prime title on it. And I think that's what's grinding everyone's gears. This is not a Metroid Prime game. It's not a Metroid game, let alone a Metroid Prime game. So Nintendo did the right thing in answering, you know, Metroid fans' prayers, getting a Metroid game out there, but they did it in the completely wrong way. So they've annoyed a lot of people, including myself. Like I said, the game doesn't look bad. You can just tell that this isn't Metroid. This isn't what people wanted. I don't even think this is what Nintendo wanted. They're just, I don't know, maybe they're struggling to see what to do with the franchise. In that case, just look at what the fans want, you know, and you can't go wrong. Yeah, Metroid Federation Forces. I just don't get it. And again, like Mario Tennis, it was dropped in there. Nothing was said about it. It was just chucked in there, and then they moved on. Nothing at all. And you would have thought that bringing back the Metroid franchise, something that's going to be massive, or you would have hoped would be massive, Nintendo would have elaborated on that more. But no, it was just, it was forgotten about pretty much. By the end of the actual event, I kind of had to think about what was announced, and I was like, oh yeah, there was that little Metroid game they played, and the fact that historically Metroid games are, quite eerie, and you're on your own and you're traveling through space, and in this game you've got a couple of Federation troops playing, a shooter version of football. It doesn't really click, with the Metroid theme, but again, that's my opinion. I think it's also the opinion of a lot of people. Last time I checked on Nintendo's official YouTube page, the trailer actually had 27,000 dislikes and about 2,000 likes, which is pretty bad. If that's not an indication that you've done something wrong, I don't know what is. So anyway, guys, that's a pretty negative list. I hate to be negative about Nintendo, but they really didn't, deliver the goods this year. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of good stuff there. I still love Nintendo, and I have faith that they're going to, turn this all around, but right now, I'm a little bit disappointed. But yeah, what do you guys think? What were your worst and best moments for Nintendo's E3 for you? Please check out the other video, which has my best moments, so a bit more positive, or check out my general thoughts video. You could also check out my predictions. I can tell you now that they were pretty much all wrong, but it does give you some ideas of what games I'd like to see in the future, so by all means check that out. Thanks for watching. Please check out my channel, and I will catch you guys later.